Today, we'll be going over a simple crash course on darts, the terminology, anatomy, and simple breakdown of the games. Thanks for watching. Okay, give me a quick breakdown on a dartboard.
So your outer ring is going to be your doubles, your inner ring is going to be your triples, the spaces in between are going to be singles. Directly in the middle you'll have your double bowl, and right outside that you'll have your single bowl.
Terminology. Okay.
What are the top 10 most common phrases that you would think we say when we're playing darts?
Point whore.
Point whore.
That's usually directed at me.
The basic gist of point whore is if you are three marks ahead of your opponent in points and you proceed to point beyond that, you are a point whore. There's nothing technically wrong, but you're just a dick. Like that's the
Again, pointed at me.
that's just the easy way to say it. I would say
Follow the scud.
Yeah, follow the scud.
Banging the neighbor. That's my favorite.
Yeah, banging the neighbor, that's another one. So breaking down follow the scud. So say you're aiming at a triple 20 and you hit a triple 18. What him and I love to do, it's kind of what we play our strategy off of, is following the scud. So we hit that trip 18 and we follow that triple 18. Even though we were aiming at the triple 20, we technically missed. Because we hit the trip 18, it's natural, right? You know, your dart went there, your throw went there. That means your next throw, if you try, should go there as well. So that's breaking down follow the scud.
Scud because of a scud missile.
Yeah. And banging the neighbor is just the same. It's the same thing, just a different, funnier version.
So when you say follow the scud, it's because the scud hit something that still did something. That's why you say follow the scud. You're aiming at 20, you hit 18. Still did something, so you're gonna follow it. Banging the neighbor is when you hit the exact section next to what you were aiming at. So if you're aiming at trip 20 and you hit a triple 1, you're banging the neighbor. It's right next door to it. And that works on either side. Another common terminology would be a white horse.
Yep.
That's used in cricket, not 01. If you can get a white horse in cricket, it means you hit 3 triples that all counted. It means if you needed 3 17s and you hit a triple 17, and then you need 3 19s and you hit a triple 19, and say you're behind on points and you have 18s opened up, and you go up and you hit the trip 18 for points, that is a white horse, because you hit 9 marks in one round that all counted while in a game of cricket.
The next one, low tons.
Good one.
Low ton.
Okay,
Yeah.
My favorite.
so low ton is anything above 100 points up to 140, 150 technically, but 149 is really it, because if you hit 150, you most likely threw a hat trick, and then it's going to be a hat trick, which is 3 bullseyes at the same time.
Now
I
to
only
be specific.
hit one of those in my life.
Now to be specific again, 150 points is not a hat trick. 150 points is a high ton, which is anything 150 up to 179. 180 being a ton 80. 150 is just a high ton. 150 achieved by hitting 3 bullseyes in a game of 01 in a single round, that is a hat trick, which is our other most commonly used phrase, being a hattie, a hat trick, throwing 3 bullseyes in one turn.
Oh, there's another one. One hole out is a terminology, we're just going to touch on it, where you hit one hole, which is on soft tip, outside of your intended target. 501 is a game where you count down to 0. Start with an odd number, 301, 501, those are the most
701,
common,
1101, 1501.
etc., etc. You count down to 0. There are a couple of different ways to play the game. There's open in, open out, which means you can start the game by hitting anything on the board and it just starts counting down, and you can end as long as you hit whatever number you have left as your final number. So if you have 7 points left and you hit a 7, you end the game. You can play Masters Out, which is open in, but you have to end the game by hitting a double, triple, or bullseye, which is a very common tournament rule. That's how I like to practice, because it forces you to hit your out at the end. Strategies for 01 is it's all about the leave. Leaving yourself something you know you can hit.
So the first game that is generally and most commonly played amongst dart players would be cricket. It is a format of marking numbers to close them and following that closed number with points.
You're going to hit the 7 most popular numbers, most point value numbers on the board. So you're going to start at 15s, 16s, 17s, 18s, 19s, 20s, and then the bullseye. You have to hit each one 3 times. To win in cricket, you have to be the first team or person to close all 6 of those numbers and 3 bullseyes to win the game. But if the other guy has scored points, or girl, then you have to win on points and first to close. If the game times out, which means you've shot all the rounds that the game's going to let you play, whoever has the most points at the end of the day is going to be the winner. So there's 2 ways to play that game. Well, there's actually 3. There's tournament way, which is kill. You want to destroy the other person so that you can beat them as fast as possible so that you can go on to the next round, because that's how you win the money. There is league, which is gentleman darts. You play to win. You always want to try, but you don't point whore. And then there's casual darts, which is where point whoring comes in, which is where people are just having fun.
Guilty as charged. Very guilty, especially against these 2.
A lot of the times we call those mercy darts as well,
Yeah.
when we're playing casual darts, because we will leave a number open on purpose for another person to point on or play their game.
Keep the game
because
going.
You just want the game to go. You're just there to play. You're not there to finish the game as quick as
Yeah,
possible.
you're not playing to win money. You're not playing to, win in a league. So you're just playing for fun.
Darts is a mind game. You are not playing anyone else in reality but your own head. Because how often do we see people get upset and their game falls to shit?
Yep.
It is entirely mental, and that will win you and lose games on your own with that knowledge.
Very much so. All right, so now we're going to talk about the throw line. This is your throw line. It might look a little bit different at the place you're playing, but this is kind of the general look. When you come up to the board, there's going to be a line on the ground. That's your throw line. When you're playing, if the board was set up properly, that center mark is going to have a 0 or a dash or a line or something on there, and that should be zeroed with the bullseye. And then you can adjust off of that left or right with those marks. So once you know where you typically throw, you can come back and repeat your throw over and over again because you know where your standing point is. Now, so show the proper placement of your toe.
Right there, just like that. Obviously I have shoes on. If you are playing barefoot for whatever reason, your toe just doesn't pass the outside edge of this line. And that'll put you at proper distance for regulation when it comes to throwing.
Which is 8 feet from the face of the board back. So, when you throw darts, you're going to have a different type of throw or hold on the dart. I use what's a pencil. Like if you're holding a pencil when you're writing, that's how I hold the dart. I rest this part of the dart on this finger, and then I close these 2 fingers around it, and I pull back with my elbow. My shoulder doesn't really move, and as I throw forward to give forward motion onto the dart, when I release the dart, I break my wrist, and that's what sends it flying forward. Once I get into my rhythm of the night, this typically turns to a sidearm throw because it's just my natural point of throw. So my elbow kind of comes up and I slingshot this way. And I transition very quickly from my left hand holding the darts to my right hand to shoot the darts, and I'm what's called a rhythm shooter. I shoot in rhythm. It's not so much about taking my time between each throw and resetting. Some people do that, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't do that.
Him and I throw similarly but different. That's typically how everyone is. We have seen a plethora of different styles, and it's all up to personal preference, but I hold my dart the exact same way. resting the dart on my middle finger, wrapping my index around, and pinching it with my thumb. 3 points of contact on the dart for me. The difference between him and I is I throw a little slower, a little more methodical. He's more rhythmic. And my arm, I try to reduce the amount of movement from my elbow to my shoulder as possible, just trying to use my forearm and my wrist to carry the dart. So it's just like that. The process for every throw, no matter where I'm shooting at on the board, is exactly the same. Next, we're going to bring in Tania. She's our resident rookie, as we call her. So she, a little bit differently than us, she turns her foot to the right. This is common. A lot of people do this. So she basically turns her body almost sideways as far as her legs are concerned, but her torso is still remaining almost parallel to the board.
You don't want to stand opposite, which means you don't want to throw cross body. You'll see that a lot with new throwers, is they'll go up to the line and they'll stand like this with their left foot forward, but they're right-handed. So that means they're actually offsetting themselves off the board, and they'll twist their body to throw the dart. That is not a good way to throw the dart, because it's very hard to replicate your throw with precision when you're doing that many things moving when you throw the dart. You always want to put your dominant hand that you're throwing with the same foot forward so that you're stationary. You'll also see bouncing a lot when people throw. That's not good. Some people have just gotten used to it and they've learned to compensate and time their bounce, but it's one more thing that you have to take into consideration when you're planning your shot. So you want to stay as planted as possible, both feet on the ground. The other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to throw them like baseballs. These are darts, they're not baseballs. Baseballs are big, round, and heavy, and you have to put a lot of force behind the swing. Thank you for watching MS Video's crash course to how to play darts. Hopefully you find some value and entertainment or information out of this video. And
if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. Super useful to us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right. Man, shit out.
What is this shot even about?
This shot?
Yeah.
Darts.
Well, clearly.